Hello, my name is Monty and my TEDx talk is on Do Children Have Legal Rights? I'm 17 years old and I'm a best-selling author and a world memory champion. I'm the youngest in the United Kingdom with the most Guinness World Records. I currently have 5 to my name. My talk is about children's legal rights and whether they have any. In fact, I conducted a research study just this year on this topic called To What Extent Are Children Aware of Their Legal Rights and Their Ease of Access to the Justice System? So what is the basis and the rationale behind my research study? Every research study needs a hypothesis. Well, my hypothesis was that the majority of children were unaware of their legal rights and therefore unable to properly assert their infringed rights through legal recourse. You may be wondering, why did I pick this topic in particular to research? It is quite a bizarre topic after all. I've always been interested in children's legal rights and fighting injustice in society. So it's a blend of passions for me. The aim, if I was to prove my hypothesis, was to make a positive difference in society and teach children about their legal rights. I first needed to decide how I wanted to conduct my research. I decided I wanted qualitative and quantitative research to ensure a more comprehensive set of data. The quantitative research was done through Google Forms and was sent out to schools nationally as a questionnaire. It was also sent out through the #IWill campaign, of which I'm an ambassador. The qualitative research was done via interviews of various children, some I know, some I didn't know, and children of varying ages. I also conducted interviews of various staff at Preston Crown Court and Preston Magistrate Court and a select amount of barristers. I then needed to decide what I wanted to research. I needed to research the pre-existing children's legal rights, how aware children were of their legal rights, and the ease of access to the justice system. There are currently 2.3 billion children in the world alive. 1 out of every 5 people in England and Wales is a child. Children's rights are very important. They exist to ensure children are treated properly and fairly, and we are given the freedom to develop as human beings. The first rights charter in history was signed in 539 BCE on a baked clay cylinder. It was signed by King Cyrus the Great of ancient Persia, who decreed that all slaves, including children, be freed. Flash forward a millennia and a half, in 1215 King John signed the Magna Carta, which was the first royal charter of rights in England. Since that time, children's rights have improved astronomically. In 1883, there was the passing of the Factory Act, which barred all children under 9 from working in the factories. In 1924, the Declaration on the Rights of the Child was signed by the League of Nations, which stated that humanity owes the child the best that it has to give. In 1948, the newly formed United Nations signed the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which stated that all children are to be born free and equal. And the most important piece of modern-day children's rights legislation was signed by the United Nations in 1989 and was called the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. Article 42 of this convention makes it incumbent upon any government to educate the children of their country on their legal rights. However, a 2021 YouGov poll showed that 83% of UK children and young people knew little to nothing about their legal rights. My own survey of 1,892 respondents corroborated this YouGov poll. I asked children to rate on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not aware and 10 being very aware, how aware they were of their legal rights. 77% of children scored a score of 3 or below, and the majority of answers were a score of 2. In fact, 98% of respondents in the same survey claim they've never seen any articles, videos, or social media posts explaining to them their rights. This demonstrates a further failure of the government on their Article 42 promise. There are many reasons why a child may wish to access the justice system. One reason may be their rights have been infringed. If this was the case, the only place they can currently go to is Corin's Children's Centre, a website which provides very limited information on what the laws are. This is not enough, and it is not sufficient. I tried to research online if I could find anyone under the age of 18 who had taken another party to court over an infringement of rights. I was unsuccessful in my searches. And so, I decided to test the system myself. In November 2021, I took a local youth organisation to court over a matter of breach of contract due to allegations of bullying, abuse and homophobia from the staff towards the children. The defendants failed to file a response, and within 7 days decided to settle out of court, paying damages in full and also paying court costs. We were paid £1,207, and I distributed this equally between the 15 injured parties and the 6 claimants that I represented. I can attest now, first-hand, how hard it is to navigate through the legal world without a legally qualified professional guiding you. I had to use my A-level law textbook, which, to say the least, did not give enough information on the law I was pursuing. The County Court Clerk staffing line was extremely unhelpful, offering conflicting advice and also providing multiple administrative errors which, if I hadn't corrected, may have ended in a lack of effective remedy. So, in conclusion, there are many laws that do exist, and it's the government's duty to educate children on these laws. However, children are still unaware of the laws, and so their effectiveness is questionable. The lack of awareness of these laws leads to a poor access to justice, and it means children are unable to navigate the legal field effectively. So my hypothesis was proven. The majority of children are unaware of their legal rights and are unable to properly assert their infringed rights through legal recourse. So what are my next steps with this research study? Where am I going to progress it to? Well, the first step was presenting here at this TEDx event today, which I hope you've all enjoyed, by the way. I'd then like to register this as an initiative on SciStarter as a citizen science project, which means other researchers can pluck my findings and use them in their own research. I'd then love to take my findings into the world of politics, maybe present as an all-party parliamentary group, and hopefully take my findings to the Department of Education, so I can make a difference in children's education on legal rights. I'd then like to align myself with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 16 for peace, justice and strong institutions. Finally, I'd love to establish a national charity. I already have a trademark registered for Young Legal Eagles. Our aim would be to educate children on their legal rights and to give them legal advice if they needed. Thank you for listening to my TEDx talk.